If you are learning Docker, stop trying to memorize every Docker command. You don't need 50 commands to get started. These are 10 Docker commands you'll keep using again and again in real DevOps work, especially when you are running or troubleshooting containers. And I'm not just going to show you the commands, I'll show you what each command does and when you would actually use it. Let's start with command number 1. The first command is docker pull. Docker pull downloads an image from the registry. In this example, I'm going to download Nginx image. If you see clearly, it is trying to pull from library Nginx. Now let's try to understand this using a proper diagram. So here is the docker pull command. As soon as I run this command, it reached out to public Docker hub and it downloaded an Nginx image. Whereas if you are working for a project, if you are working for a company, you will have your own private registry and you are going to pull images like your backend image, your front end image, database image, any other customized image. Now let's talk about command number 2, Docker images. Once you downloaded the image, how do you check what's available locally on your computer? This is where Docker images is very useful. This shows the Docker images currently available on your machine. You can see things like repository name, which is Nginx, and the tag, which is latest, followed by the ID, disk usage, and the content size. So now we have the Nginx image, but an image itself isn't our running application. For that, we need the next command. Command 3. This is probably one of the first Docker commands everyone learns, but make sure you understand what's actually happening. First, I'm going to run this container and explain it using a image. When we use docker run command using -d, that means it will run in the background, followed by I am giving that container a name called web, then -p port 8080:80. That means I am telling my local host port 8080 to map to container port 80. Then finally, Nginx is the image name. If you look at this diagram, we are using docker run to run an image as a container, which is our web, followed by inside this container, our Nginx web server is running. Command 4, docker ps. Now imagine you are working on a server with multiple containers. How do you know what's exactly running? Docker ps. This shows all the currently running containers. We can see our container name web here. We can also see which image is being used here. Its status we can see up 3 minutes ago and also the port mapping. Now let's try to understand command 5, docker logs. Now we are getting into the commands I use much more during troubleshooting. Let's say somebody tells you the application is not working. One of the first things you'll probably want to see is what the application is actually reporting. Here I'm going to use docker logs web, our container name. This shows the logs generated by the container. For a real backend application, you might see something like database connection failed or connection refused or maybe an application exception. And if you want to continuously watch the logs, add -f, that means follow. New logs will continue appearing in your terminal, so don't just memorize docker logs. Remember the question it answers. What is happening inside my application? Now let's discuss command 6, which is docker execute. Sometimes logs aren't enough. You actually want to inspect something inside the running container. That's where docker execute becomes useful. Docker execute hyphen it, that means interactive terminal, followed by web, and I will say sh, means shell. Now I'm inside the running container. Here I can run some commands. For example, I will run ls and I can see the details inside the running container. Or sometimes I can inspect configuration files. In a troubleshooting situation, maybe you want to verify whether a file exists, check an environment configuration, test connectivity, or what's happening inside the container. But there is a very important point here. Going inside a production container and randomly changing things is not a proper fix. Always use this primarily for investigation and troubleshooting. Your permanent fix should normally come from your application configuration, Docker file, deployment configuration, or pipeline. Command 7, Docker inspect. This command gives you much more detailed information about a container. For example, I would like to see the details about the web container which we created. Press enter. You'll get a lot of JSON output. Don't get scared by that. You don't need to memorize everything. What I am normally interested in is information such as network configuration, IP address, environment variables. For example, imagine your application cannot connect to another service. You might want to check which Docker network it's connected to. Or you want to confirm an environment variable was actually passed to the container. That's where Docker inspect becomes useful. Command 8, Docker stats. This gives you live resource usage for your running containers. You can see things like CPU details, memory details, network details, and processes. Imagine your application suddenly becomes slow. Before jumping into conclusions, you could quickly check Docker stats. Maybe one container is consuming 90% CPU, or maybe memory usage keeps increasing. Of course, in a proper production environment, you'll normally have monitoring systems collecting these metrics. But for quick investigation, Docker stats is extremely useful. Command 9, Docker stop, and the container name. This is very simple. It will try to stop the running container. Now, if I run docker ps command, our container is gone from this list. But this is where people get confused. The container hasn't been deleted. Now if I run docker ps-a, I can see my container. It is exited 18 seconds ago. If I want to start it again, I will just say docker start web. Again, it started running. I will stop it once again. Command 10, docker space rm. If I actually want to remove my web container, now I can run this command docker rm space web, press enter, container got removed. Now once again I will run docker ps-a, our container is gone completely. So docker stop. Docker stop will just try to stop the container, but Docker RM will delete the container completely from your machine. Let me give you two more bonus commands that become very useful when you've been working with Docker for a while. First, Docker system df. This command tells you how much disk space Docker is consuming. Then you have one more command, docker system prune, which can clean up unused Docker resources. But be careful with these cleanup commands, especially on shared or production system. Understand exactly what Docker is going to remove before you confirm anything. Now, if you are preparing for DevOps interviews, don't just memorize these commands. Think about them as a workflow. Get image, running the container, checking, troubleshooting, and finally managing. Because in a real environment, nobody is going to be impressed because you memorize Docker logs. What matters is whether you understand when to use if someone tells you the application container keeps crashing. What would you check first? Is the container running? You are going to use Docker PS. Did it exit? You are going to use Docker PS-a. Why did it exit? You are going to check Docker logs. What configuration it was running? You are going to use Docker inspect. That's troubleshooting, and that's much more important than memorizing all these commands. So these are 10 Docker commands I recommend becoming comfortable with if you are learning DevOps. You don't have to memorize every Docker command available. Learn the fundamentals, understand the container lifecycle, and most importantly, learn how to use these commands when something goes wrong. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.